We have a customer here with us that wanted to share with you his personal experiences. And I think a lot of the questions you've been asking are things that Sai has gone through here. So this is Sai Adivi, and he's from Dentegra. You want to, maybe we'll just start off with, Tell us a little bit about Dentegra and what initially led you to giving us a call.
Sure. Dentegra is the #1 dental insurance company in the country. We hold the brand at a higher level, but we are part of Delta Dental Plan Association, and I'm part of Delta Dental of California. So that's the #1 dental insurance in the entire country. We are about more than $9.5 billion in revenue, and we do have complex systems and complex processes. Of course, the core in the insurance is the claims processing. That's what I was referring earlier with Patrick as well. That's almost, we have around 20 terabytes of database. That's the heartbeat of our business. That's from a business perspective, and I manage the DevOps organization at Delta Dental of California, the Dentegra. So would you like me to
what's
the journey?
Yeah, I mean, what
Sure.
led you to giving us a call?
So even before embarked on cloud journey, we were looking at, for our pre-production, whenever we wanted to spin off an environment, it was taking almost 6 months. Earlier, Keith, I think he was referring to from an SAP perspective. It was taking more than 6-9 months, just provisioning hardware and then exporting, importing data, running masking on all these things. Prior to using Delphix masking engine. So it was taking quite a bit of a time, and we were hindering the business progress, obviously. Just being IT folks, every time it'll come back to say, oh, you are not coming fast enough for us to deliver value to our customers. Then we looked at industry solutions. What can we do? How can we expedite the process? Not just at the database and storage level, but at multiple components level. First thing we took a shot at was at the database level. Then we evaluated Delphix primarily for masking, as we were all discussing earlier. And we looked at that and we evaluated, and actually, Delphix team did help us in similar to the other questions someone was asking. Some of the customizations we wanted specific to our masking needs, they did turn around and gave us the fixes in a very short amount of time. So it helped us. We started using masking for our pre-production, and then we looked at the virtual databases of storage optimization. Same thing, we run our production on tier 1 pure storage, and our pre-production mostly on EMC. And even in pre-production, some performance and some other UAT environments, we run it on pure. We are paying quite a premium on the storage at that level, even though all of us understand it's going down, but we are still paying quite a bit of a premium. And the exact system of the claims, what I was explaining, we have around 21 copies in non-production you can understand 21 into 16 terabytes. Right now, I'm kind of lost in my math. I need a calculator. So that many environments and that many physical storage copies we were managing. And getting that any additional environment would take a Herculean effort to rally up all IT infrastructure operations and get that infrastructure installations and everything. Virtual databases is one of the first thing we did. We did run into a challenge where we almost kind of reached a place we thought Delphix is not going to work for us in virtual databases. And it was our internal configuration that we were sharing the bandwidth between the database compute and the storage, virtual storage, with other servers. And we were choking that performance. The IOPS, we were not able to get what Delphix was promising. We worked with Delphix, and they kind of helped us figure out the actual root cause. And we changed the network configuration between the database compute and the storage to Delphix storage. Boom. Then till now, we never had any issue on the UAT, which you can understand. Even the UAT, even though it's not a typical production environment, business users have some set of expectations in the performance of application. So we did achieve that goal as well. And that helped us to now exploit further what else can we do towards our cloud. Our claims database, we never will put it in cloud. That's our own security reasons, nothing related to Delphix or anything. So we kept it in on-prem. That's where we ended up in a hybrid cloud strategy. The rest of the applications we moved into cloud. And when we moved it to cloud, initially we did not do the Delphix at the time. I think we haven't heard about AWS portability of Delphix at the time. So we created physical databases in cloud. We shipped the 40 terabytes of database from on-prem to cloud. We used Snow Globe. I think all of you guys may be aware of that. Even using Snow Globe, shipping it and importing the data in the cloud, it took us quite a bit of a time. It took like maybe 2-3 months. And then configuring the application stack, everything, it took us almost 9 months to bring up a successful cloud environment from a development perspective.
And that was all from a snapshot.
Yeah.
So which one's the briefcase? There's two of them. There's Snowball and Snowmobile.
Snowball.
Mobile's the truck and Ball is the...
Yeah, Snowball is the one I think that physically goes into the data center and they plug it in and then they import it.
And so that 3 months and then 9 months, you were, I'm assuming, still kind of at that snapshot from that moment in time you shipped that briefcase out on FedEx.
Yeah. So by the time you're right, by the time we brought up the environment, already I was getting requests, the data is stale. Now I need a refresh of the data. Oh, I said like, no, if you want me the data refresh, again, I have to run another 3-month exercise to get you the latest data. That's when, again, we worked with Delphix. We got to know that they are enabling us on cloud. Then we enabled both our development and test environments on cloud on Delphix for the database storage virtualization. And that took us like maybe less than a month for the initial setup and configuration. We did have to work with some architecture. How do we have to enable it from an efficiency perspective? We create an engine on-prem. So that's where we create all the virtual databases after masking. Earlier, Jeff was mentioning about security part. We don't want to ship. We don't want to ship it to the cloud to mask it. So we created it on-prem. We masked it, and then we created the virtual DBs, and then we shipped it out to cloud through our Fast Connect network. We are not using any more devices, either Snow Globe or Snowflakes, none of those things. So we are now shipping it through our Fast Connect between us and the Amazon data center. It's happening very fast. And now we are able to refresh multiple times quite often. Right.
So you're a dental insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have to abide by HIPAA compliance? Or?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So you've been audited and that's all been approved by your compliance officials?
Yes, absolutely. That's again, even I was explaining Patrick earlier, even in our pre-production environment, we have maybe 5 or 6 major accounts, customers. We have to mask them even in the production network. The minute we take the data from production, even if it is an on-prem production network, we have to still mask them. So we use Delphix masking for that, to do that activity.
Can I ask, as a customer, you must have in your own mind a couple of things that you would like Delphix to do, which is not there yet. Mm-hmm. What's on your list of features you're looking for?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead. Yeah, we were just talking about it. I said to Sai, I was like, well, since you came down here and you're so nice to donate your time, at a minimum, you can give me the riot act on whatever you need from us.
It doesn't necessarily be a riot.
No, I'm kidding.
Just, no product is perfect, and people are always looking for improvements. So.
The first and foremost, I did mention it to Patrick, was incremental masking. Maybe none of you did not kind of look into that angle from a customer perspective. Today, it is like a point in time. You need to take a snapshot and then start masking and then take it and then spin off your VDBs on top of it. So it does take some time, especially if I'm running on a 20 terabyte database. That's the primary, to take a snapshot and run it, and then I still see a loss of time. Have I improved from my earlier days? Definitely. Yeah. There's definitely a day and night difference. But still now I have given that flavor to the business, they expect me to go faster. Now you came back from weeks and months to days. Now how can you get it to me in minutes? Oh, I said, okay, we will be working on it. We had to work with our partners to get that done. So that's one of the things. And the second one we were talking about was on the data parts, which Patrick earlier alluded. Today we are like an enterprise. We are not like a startup where I say, as developer comes and asks for a LAMP stack, and they just get the stack and start developing. They need a logical enterprise environment to start any work, or even if we have to build an environment. So we are internally customizing our platform as a service. Part of that, we want to hook up with Delphix to call these creation of databases and logically say, this is for a customer experience project to work. There are like 9 or 10 applications behind that that runs that. And all the databases that are related to that, I want to create it as in one container and then make it available for the developers to just like say, give me a CX stack. We create applications, we create databases, and boom, we give that stack to the developers. That's another thing I've been asking them. Looks like they have that on the roadmap. So.
Well, in some cases, we have that already in the form of the self-service product, but we haven't gotten it in your hands yet. So we're going to try to get that rolled out. But increasingly, we want to just make it easier to logically group environments together. We have some of that in that that interface that was it you that had it up? Woody had up with the cloudy things in the timeline. Developers are empowered to pull many things together. They haven't yet deployed that particular part of the product, and so that'll help. But there's some additional improvements we can do where architects, DBAs can proactively, say these 40 databases all represent an environment and sort of prescribe the data pod ahead of time rather than leaving it to the data consumer.
I have a question. So when you first got started with Delphix, how much of that was done within your team, and how much help did you need from PS or from Delphix to get started? And then I'm curious how that's changed through the relationship to the current state.
Sure. I don't know if there are no potential customers, maybe I can say some things so that they don't get dinged on that. Definitely, we were the heavy lifters from our perspective. However, we did sit with the Delphix team in understanding the architecture part. And again, as I said earlier, because we did it on our own, we did not configure the architecture very well. We did not understand the bolts, nuts and bolts behind it, how the network configuration should have been done in the first place. And it took us, we were almost about to kill the product. And then we turned around and we asked Delphix, it's not going to work for us. Then they brought in their architecture team, and then we looked at the configuration and we looked at, okay, this is the problem, and we changed it and it worked. Honestly, I haven't kind of involved any of the PS yet. The reason I say that, when I have a problem, I just tell the sales and the sales engineering. They do bring their army and get this fixed. Other customers, like any other products, when I say customers, like other softwares, the minute I say I have an issue as a customer, they will say, go work with my PS, and then they start charging me. It's a good thing right now because maybe the state where Delphix is right now, they're more helping us, and I have said that to their CEO as well. It's a collaboration, and them helping us to make us successful is the critical part. And I'm very, very happy, and that's why I do not mind coming in and sharing some of the things what I've been noticing at my company.
So I'm really interested here as you look out broader. The data and data set is one part of the equation. The next part is making the application folks happy overall. If I can deliver the database used to be the long pole, now it's become the short pole. How are you looking to help this with your overall architecture for delivering entire environment? So there's your core applications, then all the bolt-ons that you need to really have a really robust development environment.
Yes, that is the strategy we are working this year. We made quite a bit of a progress on that front. Even though today I'm able to spin off databases, as you're saying, like in minutes in a day, maybe, still bringing up my application stack, it still takes time. I'm taking only infrastructure as a service from Amazon. It's not a platform as a service. Then I install my OS, my application layer. Everything is today, it's been done. There are some siloed automation that has been done within my organization. But right now we are in the middle of orchestrating the entire thing I call it as a DPaaS, like Delta Platform as a Service, internally, and we're trying to bring that and hook it up together to say all the components should be done. My vision is, again, it's my aggressive vision, to bring back any logical environment stack within my organization in cloud, maybe in less than half a day. That's the current thing we are looking at.
And then I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you've been trying to go.
Okay. I was just going to ask you, your production databases, are they encrypted, or did you have to configure them a lot to work with Delphix?
Honestly, nothing. There is nothing we have done differently with Delphix or to answer your earlier part of the question, yes, we are encrypted. We do encrypt at a storage level. We do encrypt through Oracle TDE as well.
Okay, so at the table,
that
it's encrypted before the write at the table.
Yeah.
Okay. And Delphix still works with that, with the masking.
Yes, it does. And it does compress a little bit. I don't want to sell it too much on the compression part from a Delphix perspective. Whenever I mask it and kind of start creating the VDBs, it does compress a little bit automatically from the pre-production perspective.
But you said you are finding that you need that fast connection still for ongoing uploads?
Not just from a Delphix perspective, even for my actual application itself, I need that fast connect. I cannot run it over a 10 Mbps network. I need that. I'm running on 10 GB right now, fast connect.
So are you using your AWS primarily as compute for the database and then having applications back in your data center. So all of that is compartmentalized in AWS.
Yeah, in my clouds, the way it works is, as I said, my claims engine and the corresponding applications just for the claims engine runs on cloud, on-premise, in on-premise, because that product runs on HPUX. So nowhere in the world I can put anywhere in the cloud. So it's still on my on-prem. Rest of my entire application stack are Linux-based, and the databases are all Linux-based. So we push them everything onto the cloud. So for that particular, all the applications, end of the day, they will connect with my claims in some form or the fashion, either from a transactional perspective or from a data warehouse perspective. So they access through over the fast connect, and it's a dedicated data center. Did I answer your question, Keith?
Yeah, absolutely.
So can you share with us a little bit about how, now that you're operating more in the cloud, some of the, how you're taking advantage of some of the elasticity in the cloud? You were the other day you were telling me about some of the environments that are coming up and down and where you want to go with that in the future.
Sure. Before I answer that question, I wanted to share one more thing. Earlier, someone was discussing about the storage optimization. In the cloud, with one copy of 40 terabyte database, multiple database instances, total 40 terabyte storage. And today I'm running 4 end-to-end environments, and I can run like 4 more. If I would have done it on a physical copy, I would have created 160 terabytes by now on cloud. So return on investment from a EB2 or the EC2 versus EBS, I'm not seeing that much. I'm actually more benefited with the current way I have architected it from a Delphix perspective. And coming back to answering your question, today my development happens even from offshore, and predominantly from India and from here. So we are operating the cloud in a scheduled downtime. Unless and until it is required by some specific business need, we bring down the application stack and the compute stack, entire compute on Amazon, right at 5 o'clock PST, and then we'll let the team that comes in offshore, whatever the application stack, whatever the databases they need, they will bring it up. So these are common things. We made it like more self-service, and any developer can come in, any tester can come in, they can just spin it up whenever they want to. That's the one.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, I think in the interest of time, if we can do last round of questions, and then probably want to wrap up so you can get on with your day.
We are using EBS purposefully for the IOPS, nothing related to from a storage perspective. Even if I would have put it on EC2 or EBS, my applications would not sustain the speed of the IOPS. So that's why I had to use that. And in pre-prod, we are using on EMC. I moved away from Pure. All the Delphix virtualization storage I did. On EMC, the performance, I haven't seen a single issue so far.